I just wanted to read my comment in response to Moira Coach, who commented on a projector video that I had done to say that for her, it's all about the formal invitation. That the invitation is formal, and when she gets a formal invitation, it's great. And if it's not formal, if it's like come around for coffee sometime, it just leads to bitterness. So here's what I wrote. Come around sometime definitely sounds like a throwaway fake invitation. And yet, Ra talked of projector recognition as even extending to recognition of a bard in the lands. What could be likened to a general desire for that person to be around, as you find with celebrities. Everyone wants Bill Murray to be at their party. Ra used the example of the bard who is well known in the land and welcome to stay for free at the inns. A standing invitation, an open invitation from the people of the land who love and adore the projector. What a beautiful thought. I think this can happen especially for those with undefined G, since they gain so much energy from the place where they are. And while places do not belong to them as much, in some sense they belong to places. As a projector can be recognized by the people in a given scene as belonging to that place. Yeah, I was thinking here of like projectors who are kind of invited everywhere in a certain art scene or in a certain music scene because they just belong there. They're so much a part of that. There's also the idea of carte blanche, of giving a projector the resources to do what they need to do. I think of Lance Reddick's character in The Wire, when he puts the crew back together, talking to the police chief. You put me on this job to do the job, so let me do my job. In reference to the chief not giving him enough resources. Granted, the 4521 is a manifestor channel, not a projector channel, so I don't want to conflate my hanging gate 45, which provides resources for hanging gate 21s, of which more than a few I provided resources for have been projectors, with the idea of carte blanche for a projector. But I do think there is a version of invitation which is the carte blanche access to resources, whether financial or otherwise material, like using a space. So yeah, this is my comment where first I give an example of what's not a formal invitation of the bard getting to stay for free at inns. Then another example of not the formal invitation, which is just the carte blanche access to resources, like being given a credit card or being trusted with a budget. And it's not really a formal invitation to have that budget. It's simply casual. Use what you want with this, And then one last distinction. I think it's important to see the context of waiting for the formal invitation. The context. That's a great practice for projectors who are trying to discern real invitations from people just trying to be nice by making throwaway fake invitations. And a lot of watered-down HD analysis seems to say you just recognize the energy of the invitation without the other needing to really invite. Well, this is a slippery slope, but I actually do think it is something like an energy, more technically whether that energy is actually available or not. And this can be detected by projectors, but only when they have deconditioned sufficiently, which is a minimum of 3.5 years, and it's more than halfway toward the 7-year full deconditioning cycle. And I didn't write this, but I'm speaking particularly about energy from generators. So for the first 3.5 years, be careful with your mind convincing you that this person really has energy for me, when all the signs are screaming that they don't have energy for you. It's like the Steve Martin movie, The Man with Two Heads, where he asks his deceased wife's spirit for a sign to approve of his new love interest, and all the signs are obviously negative. Her portrait is spinning on the wall, lights are strobing on and off, and yet he convinces himself that she approves. So yeah, there's a danger that people will just cherry-pick signs while ignoring the very real signposts that someone doesn't have energy for you, or that someone has energy for you or not. And that's what it's really about, the availability of energy. and the quality of that energy. I am speaking here more literally about auric energy than anything else. But of course, this has parallels in areas such as making finances and material resources available to projectors, so they have a budget on a project, for instance. But at a strict energy mechanics level, which the other structures are essentially modeled after, it's about making energy available from generators to projectors in the aura, so that the projector may guide the use of that energy and also feel the satisfaction and positive conditioning of that energy, and also have vitality and energy to get things done themselves. Not overdone, just done. Because they've had such a good meal of clean, satisfied sacral energy, not frustrated, deadened, lackluster sacral energy. So, I'm covering a lot of ground here, and I'm kind of moving around a lot. I don't mean to, make this my whole thesis on the role of projectors in the world. And obviously projectors have relationships with manifestors and other projectors and reflectors. And there's a lot of depth to these relationships and a lot of meanings of the term guidance and so on. But really, I think of guiding as a mechanical thing between a projector and a generator. I think about it as the guiding of sacral energy. I think about it as operating primarily through asking questions, not even necessarily yes/no questions, just questions. It's not like the projector has to lead the generator in that way. The guiding is not necessarily leading, right? And I'm not going to do my whole thesis on what guiding is, but you can kind of hear from my comment here that the way I'm talking about projectors anyway, yeah, I agree, formal invitation is great. I also just want to establish the context of what we're talking about here and how one of the things that a projector can have is a certain recognition like celebrity, and that's almost like the few steps removed version of true recognition. It's like a few steps removed because it's not necessarily, success and recognition for being a celebrity. The celebrity could still be really lonely and could still feel like a failure when it comes to their personal relationships. I'm talking about celebrity projectors here. So, but that being said, there are different versions or different even, it's like there's the real thing and then there's levels down the line. In the same way that for generators, the real thing of satisfaction cannot be faked, but like orgasm is a metaphor for satisfaction. So that some generators just chase orgasm, or an adrenaline rush or something like that. You might have an adrenaline thrill seeker as a metaphor for satisfaction, right? They're looking for the metaphor of the satisfaction, not the real thing. Or eating or something, this food is so good. And you have a generator who's eating so much because they're frustrated and they're looking for the satisfaction, and the eating is a metaphor for the satisfaction. Now, of course, food and sex and adrenaline and so on can actually be satisfying, sure, but so can organizing your sock drawer, right? You don't need these chemical cocktails, to feel satisfied. But in any case, just on the idea of, the formal invitation. It needs to be clear. The other person needs to really do it. But the other thing is, say there's a generator who's just initiating, who's not living their design, who says, you are formally invited. That's still, and then you as a projector, what you should really do is say to the generator, am I? And if they know human design at least, or if they're guttural enough to be living their design regardless, they'll go, uh-huh. And you say, do you really want to see me? And they go, uh-huh. And, that's the formal aspect as well. It's like, but I also see just the benefit. Like if you're getting into human design, I see the benefit of waiting for the formal invitation, because it's kind of like, it forces you to just save your energy and stop overdoing the sacral all the time and just like wait a little bit and kind of get into this, getting accustomed to being patient, getting accustomed to be waiting. And then somebody really misses you and they go, you know what, you are hereby invited to come over for dinner at 6 p.m. on Saturday, and I would love to see you. And that is a very formal invitation compared to just, oh yeah, stop by when you're in town sometime. So I do really like what Moria Coach is saying there. So thank you, Moria Coach, for that comment. I really appreciate it. And feel free to continue comments. Anyone watching, in the comments, do you think the formal invitation is necessary? Is it only necessary in the beginning? How do you understand it? I mean, for me, I don't take any dogmatic. I love dogmatism and I love dogmatic rules. I also don't take. I take formulas extremely dogmatically. I take statements like wait for the formal invitation as requiring context. And the context for me is the context of verifying that the generator really has energy for you. And the real way to verify this is to kind of interrogate them with yes or no questions. Do you have energy for me? Do you have energy for me to hang out for like a couple days? Do you have energy to like work on this project together? Do you have energy for, and that kind of thing. And if it's an emotional generator, give them the ability to change their sacral responses. But the best projectors can become like sacral detectors. They're like human lie detectors, detecting the yes, no of the sacral of the generator. And that's all it's really about. We just don't want projectors inviting themselves and ignoring that the energy is not available. And the generator's going, no, it's my energy, it's not available for you. And the projector's going, hey, so anyway, thanks for letting me stay here. And the generator's like, why did I agree to this, And that's what it's really about. It's about getting to that beautiful, fruitful projector-generator relationship where projectors and generators can actually, the generator really misses the projector and really craves to see them and really, really, really wants their take on things and really feels lost without them, and then is able to give that projector so much attention and so much trust and so much they open themselves up so fully to that and give themselves over. Now, but again, not ever losing their own authority. I mean, that's what's beautiful about it. You're not just, Ra would make jokes about it. The projector is the type, it's not like a manifestor where they just tell you what to do and you start doing it. The projector, you have to beg them to control your life. You have to beg them to micromanage you in every last aspect of your life. And so obviously there's a lot of really not self relationships like this. And anytime I see a projector-generator relationship, I'm usually horrified because the projector is this petty tyrant, control freak, demanding, and the generator is walking on eggshells and says, well, I guess it's okay if I invite my friends over, but I'm not supposed to, so I guess I just won't because it might be annoying. You see people walking on eggshells and stuff. That's not what it has to be. There's some very beautiful projector-generator relationships out there, and I've seen what they are. I've had them, and I've seen what it is personally to have been guided at such a deep level by a projector. But as the not-self, it can be really atrocious. Anyway, feel free to put any comments, projector-generator relationships, projectors, waiting for the formal invitation, anything at all. I always enjoy reading the comments. Thanks so much.